Welcome guys to another video on Snowbreak. Now in my last video I talked a little bit about Mauxir's skill and I went over why I believe it was a little bit underwhelming. However, it looks like I didn't know that there was also information regarding her specific logistics as well as her weapon. I did not know about this website, but this is a website dedicated for, actually I believe they have different games as well, but this is Snowbreak over here. So it has the information regarding Mauxir's skills all detailed out over here. Now one thing I would like to say is that regarding the skills over here, it looks like the devs actually deleted this from their Twitter page, which could mean two different things. Either they have decided to rework the skills, or this is not like the proper skills, or they decided to change something, or they just felt like they should release it on a later date. So we have to wait and see if this is the official skill for Mauxir, but this was what was given out before, but they might have gone ahead and changed this later on. So my video regarding her skills might be slightly outdated in the future. However, one thing I would like to say with this video is that we actually start to understand what Mauxir's role is in the game. So as we know her weapon skills, as we know the logistic skills as well, we can actually tell that she is actually meant to be played as a supportive character. So the only skills that really matter with this character is her supportive skill, maybe her ultimate as well, but we can take a look at the supportive skill to see if this is worth, getting this character. But one thing I would like to say is, like, the weapon and logistics, just focus all on supportive skill. So we're going to be talking about in today's video and talk about whether this changes how Mauxir works or changes how I view her, because my last video on her was talking about why I believe she was an underwhelming character. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more content on Snowbreak. If you guys don't want to miss out on future content on the game, make sure you are subscribed and make sure that post notification is on. And if you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and click the like button. I would absolutely like to hear your opinion regarding Mauxir. Do you think she is a good character, or she's going to be a good character, or do you think we have to wait? Well, obviously we do need to wait until she's actually into the game before we have our full opinion on her. This is just me going over like my base opinion on her right now. So first thing we're going to take a look at, actually first of all, it would be her weapon. Actually, for those of you guys who don't know, this is her skills over here. So the first skill over here, basically, there we go. First skill, this is a standard skill, basically throws a cabochette projectile at the target, exploding on hits and dealing chaos damage, and you can hold to charge up this ability, making a projectile travel faster and do more damage, as well as knocking up enemies hits whilst charging. Nearby enemies are knocked back but stamina is consumed. And then going over to her supportive skill, throws a cabbage projectile at the target, making making a target and 3 other sub targets. All targets marked take chaos damage over time. Dealing damage to the cabbage projectile will transfer a portion of the damage to the main target. Mauxir cannot switch onto the field while the skills is active. And then going over to here, as you can see, it's similar to her original 4-star version, where you can shoot this little puppet over here and does damage to the enemy. One thing I also realized is that with the other skill information, oh sorry, I didn't need to go back, it just says here the damage over time is not affected by any buffs, basically. So the damage over time will not be buffed by any skill buff, skill damage buff. So it's not buffed by any damage bonus or attribute buff, and no auxiliary. It doesn't count as an auxiliary unit as well, and it's not okay. There we go. So that's one thing I didn't really like about this supportive skill. Now going over to the ultimate skill, after attacks a target enemy, knocking up the target, slowing it and dealing chaos damage. After a delay, an explosion will detonate at the targeted location, dealing AoE chaos damage. One issue I did have with the skill is like the damage is focused in one row. Now obviously the little it says that once the triangle or the pyramid, goes away, it explodes and does damage to the area. But as you can see, the range is just quite narrow, so it's not like a huge AoE damage to everyone. Slight issue I have with her as well. Now yeah, let's go ahead. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at her weapon skill. So basically, increases. We don't know the values exactly of the skill or of the we don't know the values basically of the weapon. So equipped. Okay, increase equipped operators max HP by a certain percentage. Yeah, okay. Upon entering battle, the equipped operator immediately gains X amount of buffs, or X adorate stacks. When not on at max, adorate stacks gains 1 stacks every second, up to a maximum of a certain amount. When the equipped operative support skill is used, the entire team gains the following buff for 8 seconds. So essentially, you just really want this character to use a supporter skill so that the entire team gains the follower buff for a certain amount. And the follower buff is basically here, increases attack based on a certain amount, a certain percentage of the equipped operator's max HP. So to Mauxir, the most important skill or stat, sorry, will be HP. That's why the first one only buffs HP. So okay, multiplied by the number of advocates buff and increases crit damage. And follower buff cannot be obtained while an existing follower buff is active, and only one follower buff can be activated at once. All advocate stack will be cleared once the buff expires. Basically, supportive skill, supportive character. This allows you to buff up your main damage dealer. So when I was looking at her, like, oh well, she's not going to be dealing great damage, she's not really having any great utility skill. It looks like her main role is just being locked behind the weapon, which I just don't like. However, the fact that she buffs up your team, I would take it. But then again, this is a weapon, so you might just slot this in any other character and you get the same amount of buffs, especially if wait, what does it say? So percentage of HP, where is it? So yeah, increases attack based on a certain amount of equipped operators max HP. So if there's a better character in game that has higher HP than the Mauxir, the 5-star Mauxir, you could just give this weapon to, well, assuming they are also SMG, you can also give this weapon to them. So this is an SMG weapon, can be given to any SMG character. If they have higher HP, they could potentially give you better buffs, as you can see over here. So yeah, it looks like maybe the weapon might be just better than getting Mauxir, because if you're going to be using a supportive skill, the only skill that really matters with her is the supportive skill. And to be honest, all it does, like okay, over here it just shows it locks, like it actually not unlock, it just creates this little puppet thingy. But if you take a look at the skill over here, it says binds itself, user badges to tie this main targets and up to 3 characters while bonded deal chaos damage. Oh, it doesn't say. Oh, I thought it slows them. Okay, it doesn't slow them. Okay, so all she does is just bound. Okay, it doesn't really do anything actually. It just bounds them, and then you can just attack the little puppet over there. So hey, unless that puppet is doing extra damage to the enemy, I don't know whether you'd want to use this. But okay, like I said, weapon looks to be very, very strong. But okay, going over to logistics as well, showcases that this is for a supportive character, because the first skill over here increases max HP by a certain percentage. So if you give this to Mauxir and you also have the weapon, then you get an extra buff, or the buff you get or give to your team is going to be higher because the HP is higher. When using supportive skill, all party operators will receive the River Valley buff, increasing ballistic damage. While River Valley is active, if the equipped operator support skill deals damage, active operators will also receive the Atom Sight buff. Additionally, increases attack. When the River Valley buff expires, the Atom Strike buff will also be removed. Essentially, give this to Mauxir. She uses a supportive skill, and it says if the operator's supportive skill deals damage, so it has to be a supportive skill that does damage. If you're thinking of giving this logistics set to any other character, and then also give it the weapon, because you don't necessarily need to give this weapon to Mauxir. You can give it to another SMG character that also does supportive, well, that the supportive skill does damage. as well. So the one character I'm thinking about could be actually no, it wouldn't be Life, because Life needs a frost weapon for her damage to be great. But then you can just use her as you can run a supportive build with her. We're using this logistics and also using this weapon. But overall, since you have both this weapon and logistics and you can slot it onto Mauxir, I think this is going to be great, but it doesn't take away from what I said. Her skills are kind of underwhelming, but if you take a look at her weapon and then you also take a look at the logistics, which mind you can be given to any SMG character, and maybe in the future the weapon might be better than getting Mauxir. That's what it looks like to me. Honestly, I don't think her kit itself makes her sound like, oh, must have, especially okay, actually yeah, so her kit herself doesn't make it sound like she's a must-have character, but her weapon and the logistics sounds absolutely insane. And if you think about it, when you use her supportive skill, you're targeting 4 characters, basically 1 main and then 3 sub targets as well. So that's 4 characters, and you attack or bind technically, and then you also are using you're also using this logistics, you're using a weapon. So all around seems decent, but doesn't take away from what I said with Mauxir. So that is my opinion and a update regarding Mauxir with the logistics and the weapon. So tell me down in the comment section what you guys think about Mauxir right now. Do you like that the weapon itself is probably better than having Mauxir? Or obviously, like I said, this is essentially from the base information we have right now. In the future, this might change. So yeah, it's been your boy AC Gamer. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'm out.